Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet this beanie hat. I made it to match the Little Aster cardigan. Many of you commented and asked that I make a matching beanie hat for the little sweater, so here it is. I hope you like it. Now, this little beanie hat is for 2 to 3 year size, but you can easily make it smaller or bigger from 1 to 2 years and up to 4 to 5 years old. In the information box, I'll leave you the link to the matching little sweater along with some information on how you can easily make the beanie hat smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. Now there's a baby set using the same stitch pattern, the herringbone stitch. It has a little cardigan, baby pants, baby booties, and baby hat. I'll leave those links in the information box as well. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, to make the beanie hat along with a matching Little Aster sweater, this is the yarn that I used. This is DK weight yarn, but you can also use any number 3 yarn or 8 ply. For the 2 to 3 year size, I used a total of 40 grams, which is about 158 yards or about 144 meters. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. Okay, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notifications bell. And remember, all of my tutorials are always in English and in Spanish. Thank you so much for watching. To begin, I'll be using this 3.5mm crochet hook, and today I'm using DK weight yarn. You can also use any number 3 yarn or 8 ply. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn we're going to need for the size that we're making here in this tutorial. I'm going to be making this hat for 2 to 3 year size because I'm going to make it to match this little cardigan sweater. This is the Little Aster sweater. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you the link to this tutorial. So here to begin, the first thing that we need to do is our base chain. I'm using standard measurements, and this is the chart that I'm using. You can find it on this website. So based on these measurements, toddler sizes, which are between 1 and 3 years old, the head circumference needs to measure between 16 and 18 inches, which is about 40.5 to 46 centimeters. So I'm going to make my initial chain so that it measures 18 inches because I'm making this hat for 2 to 3 year size. So the head circumference needs to be between 17 and 18 inches. This chain without stretching, it's measuring about 18 inches, which is about 46 centimeters. You can also just measure the head circumference of your child, and based on that, go ahead and make your initial chain. There is no stitch multiple, so you can have as many chains or as little chains as you need. You can make this hat also for adults. Just measure the head circumference or do what I'm doing, use standard measurements. Okay, so here to begin, we need to join to the first chain. So make sure that your chain is not twisted. I'm going to go here to the first chain, insert my hook, grab a loop, and join with a slip stitch. Now I'm going to chain 1 and beginning into the first chain, which is the same that we joined into, make a half double crochet. Half double crochet into the next chain, half double crochet into the next chain, and so on. This is how I'm going to continue for row 1. At the end of this row, I'm going to have 92 half double crochets. I will meet you at the end of this first row. I'm here at the end of row 1. In this row, I did half double crochets all around. I have 92 half double crochets at the end of this first row. To finish this row, we're going to go here to the beginning. We have the first half double crochet and we have the chain. I'm going to go here into the space between the chain and the first half double crochet, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 1. I have 92 half double crochets. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to chain 1, and before I start row 2, I'm going to flip this like this. So now I'm going to be working here along the foundation chain. This is so that the bottom of the brim has this nice finish. You can also continue this way where you just make front post and back post half double crochets, but it's going to look a little different. The bottom here is not going to look as nice, so I like to do it this way when I make my hats from the bottom up. So to do this, chain one, and we're going to flip this like this so that we have the foundation chain here. This is the first chain. This is where we did the first half double crochet. So into this first chain, insert your hook and make a slip stitch. So to begin row 2, you're going to chain 1. Now, working around the post of the half double crochets that we did in row 1, beginning with this first one, make a front post half double crochet, back post half double crochet into the next, front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue like this all around for row 2. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the second row. In this row, I did front post and back post half double crochets. Remember that this row is being worked over the foundation chain. We're working through the post of the half double crochet row that we did in row 1. So here to finish this row and all the rows to follow, you're just going to go here to the side of the chain and join with a slip stitch. Now to start each row, for the brim, you're going to chain 1. And beginning with this first stitch, you're going to make a front post half double crochet. The next one, back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet into the next, and so on. This is how you're going to work the rest of the brim. To finish the row, go here to the beginning, to the side of the chain, join with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then repeat the same thing. I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do here for my brim, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do, so I will meet you at the end of that row. I finished making the brim. I did a total of 5 rows, 4 rows of front post and back post half double crochets, plus the first row of just half double crochets. Now to continue here with the body of the hat, I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to start the stitch pattern. This is going to be made with the herringbone stitch, which is the same stitch pattern that I used to make the Little Aster cardigan. In the information box, you can find the link to that tutorial. So to make the herringbone stitch, you yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch that we joined into, which is this first stitch, and grab a loop. There's 3 loops on the hook. Take 1 loop off, grab a loop and take 1 loop off, grab a loop and take 2 loops off. Again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch and grab a loop. Take 1 loop off, grab a loop and take 1 loop off, grab a loop and take 2 loops off. Again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 1 loop off, grab a loop and take 1 loop off, grab a loop and take 2 loops off. This is how we're going to continue for the rest of this first row, like this. I'm here at the end of row 1 of the body of the hat. In this row, we have started with the stitch pattern. This is the herringbone stitch. Now, to finish the row, we're going to always go here to the beginning. We have the 2 chains and the first herringbone stitch. Go on top of the first herringbone stitch and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 1. I have 92 stitches. For row 2, chain 2 and turn. From here on, this is going to be the front side of the hat, and this is going to be the wrong side. So to continue here with row 2, you chain 2 and turn. Beginning into this first stitch, you first yarn over, insert your hook and grab a loop. Take 1 loop off, grab a loop and take 1 loop off, grab a loop and take 2 loops off. Again, yarn over, grab a loop, take 1 loop off, take 1 loop off, take 2 loops off. And this is how I'm going to continue for this second row. From here on, you always chain 2 and turn. Finish the second row. I will meet you at the end to once again show you how to finish each row and how to start each row from here on, since you're going to continue on your own for the rest of the hat. I'm here at the end of the second row. I need to make my last stitch. The last stitch is going to go here at the end where the 2 chains come out of. So insert your hook there and make your last herringbone stitch. Now to finish each row from here on, we have the 2 chains and the first herringbone stitch. Always go on top of the first herringbone stitch and join with a slip stitch. And that's how I finished the second row with 92 stitches. Now to start each row, you always chain 2 and turn. Now this third row is being worked on the right side. I placed a marker here to mark the front of the little hat, and this is going to be the wrong side. So here to begin, always go into the next stitch, the first stitch here, and make your first herringbone stitch. And continue all around, just making one herringbone stitch for each stitch. At the end of each row, you're always going to have 92 stitches. To finish each row, you're going to go here to the beginning. We have the 2 chains and then the first herringbone stitch. Go on top of the first herringbone stitch, make a slip stitch, chain 2, turn, and then repeat the same thing. At the end of each row, you're always going to have 92 stitches. Now, I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do here, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do, so continue and I'll meet you at the end of that row. I'm almost done with this part. I'm going to start decreasing in the next couple rows. Now, I have done a total of 10 rows, and it's measuring from the bottom here of the brim to the end of the last row. It's measuring about 12 centimeters, which is about 4.75 inches. Now, the total length of the hat needs to be about 7.5 inches, which is about 18 or 19 centimeters. So we're going to start to decrease and shape the top of the hat. So to do this, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now, row 11 is going to be worked on the right side. Row 10 was worked on the wrong side. So chain 2 and turn for row 11. Here we're going to make 3 herringbone stitches and then we're going to work 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch here and make your first herringbone stitch. Into the next, another herringbone stitch. That's 2, 3. Now into the next 2 stitches, we're going to work 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab a loop, and make your herringbone stitch, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops. Yarn over again, insert your hook into the next stitch. Here, make your herringbone stitch where you close through these 3 loops. Now we're going to continue with the same repeat. We're going to make 3 herringbone stitches. And into the next 2, we're going to work 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook, make a herringbone stitch, but do not close it. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next, and work your herringbone stitch where you close through the 3 loops. This is how I'm going to continue all around. You make 3, and into the next 2, you work 2 together. So continue and I'll meet you at the end of this row. I'm here at the end of row 11. This is the first row of decreases. Here's my last decrease, and then into the last 2 stitches I did 1 herringbone stitch. At the end of this row I have 74 stitches. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now for row 12, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. In this row I'm not going to decrease. All I'm going to do is just make 1 herringbone stitch on top of each one of these stitches, so that at the end of this row I have 74 stitches as well. So continue like this and I'll meet you at the end of this row. I finished row 12. At the end of this row I have 74 stitches. In this row I have not decreased. Row 12 was worked on the wrong side. Now for row 13, chain 2 and turn. Row 13 is going to be worked on the right side. Now in this row we're going to decrease. So beginning into these next 3 stitches, make a herringbone stitch. That's 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to work 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, make a herringbone stitch, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next, work a herringbone stitch where you close through these 3 loops. Here's the 2 together. Again, repeat the same thing. Make 3 herringbone stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then work 2 together. Yarn over, insert your hook, work a herringbone stitch, do not close it, leave 2 loops. into the next, insert your hook and make your herringbone stitch where you close through these 3 loops. And this is how you're going to continue. Make 3, then work 2 together. I will meet you at the end of this row to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of row 13. In this row I have decreased. Here's my last decrease. So into the last 4 stitches I did 1 herringbone stitch. At the end of this 13th row I have 60 stitches. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now for row 14, chain 2 and turn. Row 14 is being worked on the wrong side. In this row I'm not going to decrease. All I'm going to do is just make a herringbone stitch on top of each one of these stitches. At the end of this row, I'm going to have 60 stitches. Continue all around. I'll meet you at the end of this row. I finished row 14. In this row, I have not decreased. I have 60 stitches, and this row is worked on the wrong side. Now for row 15, chain 2 and turn. Now in this row, I'm going to decrease, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make 3 herringbone stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then here we're going to decrease into the next 2 stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab a loop, make your herringbone stitch but do not close it. Leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, and work your herringbone stitch where you close through these 3 loops. And here's the decrease. Again, you're going to make 3 herringbone stitches. 1, 2, 3. And over the next 2 stitches, you're going to decrease. So yarn over, insert your hook, make a herringbone stitch, do not close. Leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, make your herringbone stitch where you close through these 3 loops. And this is how you're going to continue all around for row 15. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 15. My last decrease was worked over the last 2 stitches. I have 48 stitches. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now for row 16, chain 2 and turn. Row 16 is being worked on the wrong side. I'm not going to decrease. All I'm going to do is just work 1 herringbone stitch on top of each one of these stitches so that at the end of this row I have 48 stitches. So continue. I'll meet you at the end of row 16. I finished row 16, and this row I did not decrease. I have 48 stitches. Now for row 17, chain 2 and turn. Now we're going to decrease for this row, so we're going to repeat the same thing. Into the next 3 stitches, make a herringbone stitch. Now into the next 2, we're going to decrease. So yarn over, insert your hook and make your herringbone stitch, but do not close this stitch. Yarn over again, insert your hook into the next. Here, make your herringbone stitch where you close through these 3 loops. Again, make 3 herringbone stitches. Now into the next 2 stitches, we're going to decrease. So yarn over, insert your hook and make your herringbone stitch, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, make your herringbone stitch where you close through these 3 loops. And this is how you're going to continue for row 17. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 17. Here's the last decrease. So into the last 3 stitches, I did 1 stitch. At the end of this row, I have 39 stitches. To finish row 17, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now for row 18, chain 2 and turn. In this row, I'm not going to decrease, so just make 1 herringbone stitch on top of each one of these stitches so that at the end of this row, you have 39 stitches as well. So continue and I'll meet you at the end of this row. I finished row 18. In this row I have not decreased. I have 39 stitches. Now chain 2 and turn for row 19. In this row I'm going to decrease. So here to begin, I'm going to make a herringbone stitch into the next 2 stitches. We're going to make this row a little bit different. We need to start closing the top of the hat now. So here are the 2 stitches. So over the next 2 stitches, insert your hook and make a herringbone stitch, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, make your herringbone stitch where you close through these 3 loops. And this is how you're going to continue. Make 2 herringbone stitches, And over the next 2 stitches, make your decrease. So yarn over, insert your hook, and make your herringbone stitch, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next, work your herringbone stitch where you close through these 3 loops. Continue like this. I'll meet you at the end of row 19. I finished row 19. Here's the last decrease. So here at the end, into the last 3 stitches, I did 1 herringbone stitch. I have 30 stitches at the end of this row. For row 20, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now in this row, I'm not going to decrease. All I'm going to do is just make 1 herringbone stitch for each one of these stitches all around, so that at the end of this row, I have 30 stitches as well. I'll meet you at the end of this row. I finished row 20. I have 30 stitches. Now I'm not going to make any more rows. So what I like to do here to close my hat is just pull a loop here and tie a knot. Cut your yarn as well and turn this to the wrong side. Here's the loop. Now there's many ways to close the top of the hat. This is how I do mine. With a yarn needle, I'm going to pass this tail end, and I'm going to weave this tail end every other stitch. So I'm going to skip one, and into the next, I'm going to insert my yarn needle. There, here at the end, just pull this tail end, and the top of the hat should close. Now with this loop, just tie a knot to secure this part so that it doesn't open. Cut any remaining yarn, and this part here is done. And this is how the top of the hat looks. This is the right side. Now this is the side where we have been joining at the end of each row. Look how nice that looks. You can barely see where we have joined. So the hat is done. Let's see. This is how it looks. I think this stitch will make a nice tam style hat. So I'll see if I can make one for myself. There it is. So now let me give you the finished measurements. Let's see. The total length from the top, it's measuring 19 centimeters, which is about 7.5 inches. So it's within the measurement that we needed this part here to be. I'm going to go ahead and add a pom-pom. I'll leave a link in the information box of how I make my pom-poms if you want to make one for yourself and add it to this little hat. Now, as you know, this little hat, I made it to match the little sweater. This is the Little Aster Cardigan sweater. In the information box, you can find the link to this tutorial. It's also for 2 to 3 year size. The hat, you can also make it smaller or bigger. I'd say from 1 to 2 years old and up to 4 to 5 years old. In the information box, you can find all of that information. Now, as far as yarn, you're going to need a total of 40 grams for the 2 to 3 year size, which is about 158 yards or about 144 meters. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.